Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Pool versus the communists. As the story goes, young Tim Pool wanted to skate, and he showed up in Martinsburg, West Virginia, where he owns properties, and all around the area, which he owns many more properties, and said, hey guys, can I skate with you? And they went, no, we're too cool for you. So he said, oh yeah, I'm buying your land. The story that the left is pushing is that I tried to buy my way into a local skate scene, and when they told me we don't want your money, I bought the land from underneath them and then shut their skate park down. A bunch of people on the right are saying, wow, that's really based, Tim, that you stole from these commie woke leftists and took away their park, none of which is true. And it's a lie they maintain. Because the culture war is on, my friends. Here's a post from r/Destiny 4 days ago. Tim Pool gets rejected by a crew of skaters that run a local DIY skate park. His response? Purchases the land from underneath them and calls them woke leftists. No, I'm calling the specifically 4 or 5 guys who are woke leftists because they've posted online legitimately and specifically that they reject my politics. They support LGBTQ pride and pride flags, and they've intentionally said it's political. They go to mention there's a video from Gifted Hater, a 40-minute reaction and a Slat magazine forum discussion. If you need a break from U.S. politics and just want to see how unhinged Tim Pool is with communities that honestly couldn't give an F about him, it's a hilarious story. And thus, the culture war rages on, my friends. And we have this from the Surfs. You guys know Lance from the Surfs. He was on Timcast IRL. Videos within videos within videos. Tim Pool buys and closes DIY skate park? ? The quartering is on the case. No such thing happened. Certainly no such thing happens. Do I have the Gifted Hater video pulled up? Yes. Gifted Hater's video, skateboarding's new supervillain. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I am skateboarding's new supervillain to communists, liars, grifters, clout chasers, and haters. So let's talk about the real story real quick for those that don't know. No, I didn't shut down a skate park. That's laughable. In fact, I've paid for repairs and improvements to the park already and posted this on Instagram, which I will start out by proving instantly to you to show you these people are liars. And that is, in fact, the purpose of what they do. They lie for political power. And as exemplified by the fact that they're literally lying. Now, here's a picture from the local DIY spot with concrete being poured. It's a DIY. These are not big construction crews. These are locals who found a space and started to build it. The locals that are currently there and who are on property that I now own have been granted money to help improve it and expand it. And I've been talking with a couple of these people, and it's been fantastic that they've been able to fix up and improve this park. Now, some people have said, Tim, that concrete pour is terrible. Why? Where's the real? It's a DIY. It means do it yourself. The lies that the left is pushing, and exemplified by literally the Surfs and Destiny, etc. These are not skateboarders. These are leftists pushing lies, which get picked up by a cancer in skateboarding to then destroy the industry. Skateboarding is get woke, go broke. It's the best example of getting woke and going broke. And I'll show you. The death of skateboarding, the declining popularity of skateboarding. Fact. There's a great documentary, mini doc on YouTube, interviewing pro skateboarders and talking about their careers and how at their peak they only made like $40,000 a year or $50,000 a year. Never enough to save, not enough to buy property, not enough to feed their families or have a wife and have children unless they're older, and they don't. Many of them have quit. They've taken jobs, Uber driving, deliveries. Some have just wasted away, did drugs, and became drug addicts who are homeless. And it's a sad, sad story that some of the most prominent names in a very, very popular culture from the 2000s are losing their way of life and are not able to sustain themselves. And it is the fault of people like this is what the left does. Let me pull up this video for you right here. This is from Gifted Hater, they call him. Skateboarding's new supervillain with 135,000 views. I'm really glad that this guy made this video, which is fundamentally false in numerous ways. He pulls different posts from Timcast IRL and discussions about it. And let me just point out, well, for one thing, I'll just say outright, I did not watch the video because I don't really care for the most part. I want to point something out for you guys. In that video, he mentions that Tim Pool's not really working with professional skateboarders by pulling up mutual followers and then looking at like, I don't know, like Ricky Glazer, I think is might be on there. I don't know. And saying like, haha, that's the people who he's working with. He's not working with pros in the industry. Well, I'm not going to say much because it's not my job to speak for other people. But yes, the biggest names in skateboarding, some of the biggest names I have been in regular contact with and are working out deals because skateboarding is dying because of wokeness. Not 100% because of wokeness. And the left will argue that I can't define what wokeness is. I certainly can. Skateboarding has had an element of wokeness in it for the whole time. Virtue signaling, clout chasing, join or die mentality of our dominant culture. And that's been the case for skateboarding for a very, very long time. It's disgusting, and it is the plague, it is the scourge, it is the cancer of skateboarding. Replace skateboarding with any other culture because I want to talk to you about wokeness. There was a period at skateboarding's popularity where it was wild and crazy dudes being wild and crazy, edgy, funny, and pushing the limits, being offensive and shocking and punching each other in the face and slapping each other in the nuts. And young guys liked rebellion. Now I go to a skate park and I see Black Lives Matter spray painted on a ramp. I'm like, that's like a Walmart corporate slogan. That is corporate America. That is international corporate alignment. That is not punk rock. And that's what the kids have in front of them. So why don't they want to do it? Well, you take a look at this guy, Gifted Hater. And I'll tell you what generally I hear about him. He has a YouTube following, which are generally haters, hence the name. Angry, they attack people, they insult people. If you are not aligned with what they demand, they will incessantly just go after you. Here we go. Look at this. 4 days ago, someone commented on a picture of us fixing the DIY. Gifted Hater just trashed you on this. It was great. Why is he trashing me for giving money to help fix a local skate park? Serious question. For those that don't know, let me give you the first bit of the story. We have property in Martinsburg. This property is derelict, and it was owned by some people whose, I guess, his father died, passed it to the wife died, passed it to the kids. The kids were not keeping up with it. Some locals built a park here. I announced that we were going to be participating in our local skate jam in Martinsburg, for which we are allowed to because we own property there and we skate there. It's a DIY. It's not owned by anybody. And so it was fallen into disrepair. And so I announced $20,000, no strings attached, free of charge to this event. And they threatened me with physical violence. If Tim Pool shows up, he will be physically removed. He's not welcome here. What do you mean you're not welcome here? You don't own the property and I live here. And you know what the problem was? The problem was skateboarding is not supposed to ever be exclusive. Skateboarding is for everybody, even the gifted haters, even the clout chasers and the whiners and the losers and the virtue signalers. But you don't get to tell people what to do. And if your intention is to hurt the culture and attack anybody who wants to be a part of it, you are the reason skateboarding is dying. And it is. I'm going to break that all down for you and prove it to you. And that was our intention. Now, this is, in my opinion, get woke, go broke. Epitomized. Many people have pointed to movies and video games and said they haven't really gone broke. They're still making millions and billions of dollars. Certainly, Disney lost $1 billion in revenue off their movies. Disney is still very profitable. But skateboarding's not. Skateboarding has become cringe and unbearable, and people don't want to do it. And that's sad to me, because I've been skateboarding since I was 13, and I love doing it. One of the oldest videos on YouTube, seriously, uploaded before YouTube was even a year old by Brett Novak, Tim Pool skating in a Chicago warehouse from like 2003. And it's one of the oldest videos on YouTube, back when YouTube wasn't even a thing. I don't even know where the videos were getting uploaded. But YouTube was barely a thing, one of the oldest videos. What I want is for skateboarding to grow and to thrive and to be a legitimate industry where people can have a family and live their dreams and make a career inspiring young people and engaging in a professional sport the same as everybody else does in all the other professional sports. Now, it is true that you're not going to be a professional athlete your entire life. So, what's the average amount of time spent in the NFL? 3 years. However, they get contracts between $300,000 and $500,000 a year. So they crank out $1 million, $600K after taxes for 3 years, and an opportunity for investment, endorsement deals, and even more. You might get paid $300K a year on the lowest contract in the NFL, maybe $500,000. I think $300K is around like average for like the rank and file player, but you're also getting minor endorsements. You're going to make a good amount of money. Afterwards, you have an opportunity with the attention to do other programs. There's famously a guy who played in the NBA in the 90s. As soon as he got the money, he went to Wendy's and he said to the manager, "I'm so-and-so, can you teach me how to run a Wendy's?" And the guy was like, "You're on the Bulls. You're a superstar." And now he's just a guy who owns like 60 Wendy's franchises. There's opportunity for you utilizing the attention you get from being a pro athlete. Skateboarders never had that. Very, very small amount of them have ever been able to make a ton of money. But at least some of them could make a living. And now it's done. Some of the top pros are struggling. Skateboarding is basically dead. And it's the virtue signaling, gatekeeping, and woke elements that destroyed it. I think elements of wokeness entered skateboarding because of desperation to create a community that will buy the product. And this is what a lot of companies have done. Go Skate has the death of skating, the declining popularity of skateboarding. The problem that I see is that when you have people like Gifted Hater, that's a guy on YouTube, check out his stuff, you can like him or not, whatever. But when the whole intention is to attack, lie, and insult, people quit. They say, "I don't want to do this, man. Skateboarding is fun. It's a sport. You're physically active. You're in shape. You can conquer new moves. You can develop new things. It's in the Olympics now, of which I've never been the biggest fan, but we do what we have to do and try to utilize this." But if the intention of all these people is to insult and deride anyone trying to do good things in the industry will die. They want it to. There's a contingent of people who want skateboarding to be the dregs of society. In the early 90s, skateboarding was not popular. You were not making any money. Steve Barrow, one of the most famous skateboarders, said, he was thinking of quitting. Tony Hawk, another one of the most famous skateboarders, said, "Don't do it, stick around, it'll turn around." In the late 90s, it did. The Tony Hawk video came out, and this was the skateboarding boom. Instantly picked up by millions of people. All of a sudden, there was a sport in its infancy that was making money, that was paying people, and it was generating millionaires. Bam Margera, for instance. What did he buy himself? Like a Lambo or something? Tony Hawk got paid, I think it was like $4 million off the first game, and he couldn't believe how much money he was making. Skateboarding was popular. But skateboarding suffers greatly from cultural gatekeeping. And where we are now is, with skateboarding having basically died at an industry level, woke elements were introduced to try and save face. Hey, you don't got to be good at skateboarding. Just put on a dress and we're going to promote you. And that started happening. This then basically pushes all of the adventurous young men who want to play sports away from it, and they go somewhere else where they don't have this. Because while basketball, football, and other sports do have elements of this, like baseball, they do special events for it, in the sport itself, they're not injecting wokeness. Let's see how long it takes for the WNBA to get trans women in there. But in basketball, you still have the best. In football, you still have the best. Skateboarding started to get taken over by people who are not the best, being given magazine ads simply for wearing dresses. This kills the sport. And they say, it's not a sport. It's not a sport. It shouldn't be a sport. Well, it is. It should be a sport. And what we don't want, I tell you the future of skateboarding right now, with the trajectory it's on, with these people who are lying about everything. And again, to stress this, Tim Pool buys and closes DIY skate park. He put a question mark there on purpose so he doesn't get sued because he's lying. Because I've actually been funding the repairs to the park, and more people have been showing up to skate it, and I've been in communication with them regularly, and a small handful of people go online and lie, and leftists pick that up and lie, and people like Gifted Hater who want to clout chase and grift off of it lie. I'll just say this. Johnny Schillereff, he says, "Thank you for backing skateboarding, USA, USA, USA." He's the former CEO of Element Skateboards, commenting, saying thank you. So they want to talk about the pros who I'm working with. Let's talk about this industry. Here we go. The death of skateboarding. It's a sad reality to confront. There are signs the popularity of skateboarding is declining. No question. Fewer people are looking for skateboards in skate parks online than ever before, as shown by the fact that skateboarding searches on Google are decreasing. Industry studies show skateboarding involvement is down for nearly every age group, including the youth. Participation in skateboarding has declined. In the past 10 years, parks are less crowded than they've ever been. Skateboarding companies are closing. Recently, I think one of the biggest shoe companies announced that they were selling off to like Nike or something like that. They're all struggling because skateboarding as a culture is dying, and it's dying for one reason. There are not enough young people joining skateboarding. People get old and they stop doing things. They're not going to buy product as often. They're not going to buy the clothes, and they're more interested in dealing with work, paying the bills, and their family. But their kids are not skateboarding. It's not something that kids are interested in for a variety of reasons, of which wokeness is only a small portion, but does play a role. Cultural gatekeeping is scary to a young person. I've often said that if you want to start skateboarding and you go to a skate park, you will see people there. And if you walk up and say, guys, I don't know how to skateboard. I don't know how to skateboard. Can you teach me? They'll get excited and they will say, yes. They love to share that expertise. And that's true for most sports. However, when you go online and you have people like Gifted Hater, they call him, and his whole thing is insulting and ragging on people, and of course, pushing untruths or manipulating, being like misleading, people are going to say, I don't want to be involved in that. I just want to be left alone. But there is, my friends, a community for you that is fun and exciting and doesn't have the same problem. To certain degrees, every culture does have this, but nowhere near as bad as skateboarding. And unfortunately for skateboarding, that is scooting. That's right. Scooters. You've seen them. I think scooting's cool. I think anybody who wants to scoot should do it. I think rollerblading's cool. I think skiing, snowboarding, biking. Man, I love watching all of it. I love watching mountain bike videos. We've got people who scoot here. Here is Google Trends over time. Scooting taking over. Very, very popular in the past few years. And unfortunately, skateboarding is inverted. Skateboarding is dying. If people don't buy skateboards, Google searches for skateboarding dropped 90% since 2004. 90%. If people don't buy skateboards, well, if they're not skating, they're not buying skateboards. So you've got no skate pros. Board companies will go out of business and be isolated down to only a few. Trucks, wheels, bearings, clothing, the culture will die. And that's what we are getting from the serfs. He's not a skateboarder. What does he know? What does he care? But he pushes this for clout and he lies. He's not the only one. You've got the Destiny thing that, that's his subreddit. I don't know if he's commented on it. And you've got these people at the DIY in Martinsburg who want to make sure we can't pay for more skateboarding. Let me tell you another story. I've been in communication with the city of Martinsburg, and I now on more than one occasion talking about how can we get an official park built. And they say, we've been working with a guy for some time who's trying to get it built. And I said, okay, where are we at? The city pledged $30,000 in funding to pay for engineering drawings for an official skate park in Martinsburg, West Virginia. It's the Berkeley County. I'm sorry, not the city, but Berkeley County I've been talking to. Of course, that's where we operate. We've got land all over the area. And we, of course, have property in Martinsburg where we're setting up our coffee shop. So I said, let me cover the costs of those drawings. And they were like, well, we thought this was going to kickstart fundraising. And then I said, $100,000 right now. You let me know when you've secured the land, and I will not only put in $100,000, but I will call all of my contacts and we will aim for $1 million, double the budget. And he was like, wow, that's absolutely fantastic. So who is this guy who lives here who's upset that any of this is happening? Who are the people that are spreading lies about what our intention is with expanding the skate park and repairing it? And why is it that even after we've paid for repairs, they're still attacking us and trying to shut it down? They don't want expansion of skateboarding. They want to be on deserted, derelict property with needles and garbage and whatever else. They want to be the outsiders. They want to tear it down. I don't. So by all means, you're allowed to be my enemy if that's what you want. Because here's what I want. More kids skateboarding, more funding for skate parks, more skate programs, more skate competitions. I don't play baseball. I don't play hockey. I don't play basketball. I skateboard. And I want more of it. They don't. They want to burn it down. They want to drive people out of the industry. They want to scare kids. They want to say it's not okay. I see a video where a guy says a skate park is not a place to learn how to skateboard. Wrong. But this is what will destroy the industry, and it's what likely contributed to the death of rollerblading. But I'll talk about rollerblading right now. You take a look at rollerblading. It's expensive to get a pair of rollerblades, and they're all the same. There's very few different molds for rollerblades. I think rollerblading is fantastic. I've got a pair of rollerblades. I rollerbladed before I skateboarded because I played street hockey with my friends, and then everyone bought rollerblades. So during COVID, I was like, let's rollerblade. Let's try it out. Really, I just wanted to jump on the ramp and get air, and that's it. But I've been skateboarding way more, like 4 or 5 times a week now, and filming more and trying to get skateboarding going again. But rollerblading's hard in that the industry is dead. There are no pros. There's no money to be made, and people do it just for the love of the game. So there's little expansion. There's very little community. Very few people do it if at all. Because of this, with no demand, the price of rollerblades is very high. There's no sporting events, nothing on TV. It is a dead culture. And that is what they want for skateboarding. It is happening before our eyes. We have this Slap Magazine, another really good example. Founded in 1992, ended in 2008. We can see that skateboarding hit a very serious rough patch since the end of the 2000s. It dropped 5% in 2008, 9% in 2009. This is why magazine shuts down. 12% in 2012, 15% decline in 2011. Slight increase in the amount of skateboarders in 2012, but only 3 million as of 2015. Only 3 million. That's sad for something that was so influential. Between 2006 and 2015, 64% decline in skateboarding. How do we turn that around? Braille skateboarding. Maybe you've heard of them. They've got 5.8 million subscribers on YouTube. They just shut down their park. A channel that used to get millions of views for whatever reason, now only getting tens of thousands. Gone. What do we have? What else do we have here? Oh, I do have the skateboarding Super Bowl thing. The Barracks on Instagram. I like the Barracks. I know Steve Barra. Not like super well. I've talked to him and stuff in the past. But I'll tell you this. How did we get our ramps constructed at the castle? Steve Barra and I had talked, and he recommended a company that can do the construction. That's it. I've worked with him and a few other people I worked with. I was talking to him, and I said, we're trying to get this stuff built. We want good stuff. And he recommended a company, one of the biggest in the world, CI Ramp Works. We hired them. And now Spawn Ranch does the construction for our new ramps. We switched because, business, you know what I mean? Talked with Spawn. He made an offer. We accept the offer. It's really that simple. But these are two of the biggest skateboard manufacturers, skate park manufacturers. But take a look at this. I mean, no disrespect to the Barracks, but here's their Instagram. Here's a post, 21 comments. Here's a post, 11 comments. Here's a post, 19 comments. I mean, it's it, man. There's nothing. Here's a clip that's really amazing. A backflip to blunt stall, 147 comments. Skateboarding is dead and they want it to be. I don't. I'm sad to see Braille skateboarding with nearly 6 million subscribers basically shut down. And now Aaron Cairo, the founder, is making these commentary videos on Instagram. We're going to build culture. We're going to push back. We're going to tell the people that are trying to shut down skateboarding and lie about it. We're going to tell them they're not welcome. They're not welcome. Skateboarding is for everybody. Seems paradoxical, right? But if your intention is to destroy the sport and the industry so that you can have a 20-year-old board because they stopped making decks, I'm not interested in that. Now, the skateboarding is going to be in the Olympics. Very big deal. And after this year, I believe, is Paris, and then it's coming to Los Angeles. There will be a boom in skateboarding. However, right now, it is tracking corporate. And I tell you what we are going to see unless we do something about it now. With people like Gifted Hater, who are just a drag on the culture. The reason I brought up Slap Magazine, all that is left of Slap Magazine is the Slap forums. And read those posts. It is vile scumbaggery. The whole thing is people hating each other, discouraging each other. And there may be feigning of some, niceties. But almost every post is complaining, insulting, negative. Who the wants to be involved in that? There have been pro skateboarders who, after being attacked, have just said, I didn't sign up for this. I just want to skate. And so they quit. Or they fall back out of the limelight and stop producing in the way they used to. There are pros that are like, I just can't make money doing this. And why? Because when you say we need to get more kids skating, build more skate parks, they attack you for it. This is the scourge and the cancer on culture, specifically mine, skateboarding, that is making sure it will end. And for what reason? I don't know. Is skateboarding dying? The answer is unabashedly yes. And scooting is picking up because just kids are having fun. And they don't care what the old fogies who are complaining all the time have to say. They're having a great time. Skateboard brands going out of business should not be happening. CCS Zoomies and local shops may have been impacted by the downturn. The list of casualties is long. CCS, 411 VM, Digital, Fuel TV, Aesthetics, City Skateboard, Skateboarder Magazine, Arcade, Vehicle Skateboards are all gone. CCS is not gone. Is it? I don't think CCS is gone. Uh-oh. Is CCS gone? Holy crap. No. I didn't even know that. Get out of here. What? No, it's not gone. Website's not loading. Okay, there it is. That terrified me. CCS is still there. I'm like, that can't be right. What I can tell you is I have friends who've quit. And I don't even know. There's some famous skateboarders who are just working Uber Eats. There's in this documentary, you've got Moose, also a really good skateboarder, that's his nickname. And he works at Lowe's and Home Depot. He shouldn't have to. So what's fascinating is, another shout out to Gifted Hater. I pointed out that we pay salaries to our skate team and contingency on all boards. Braille skateboards, for all the controversy they're going through, paid an hourly wage. We do salary. It's like you get paid a flat rate. And he posts this thing in the video where it's like guys saying they pay salaries, and he's like, as if it's not true. Yo, if you're in your 30s and you were hoping to make a career skateboarding, be it starting a company, inspiring young people, teaching, whatever it is, the money's gone. And then what do you do? Where do you go after this? I've been told by some people, so what? Maybe skateboarding dies and goes away. No, I love skateboarding. I want skateboarding to succeed. So that's what we're doing with the Boonies. BooniesHQ.com, which is still being constructed, and Boonies HQ on YouTube and Instagram. It's not just about skateboarding. It's about creating entertaining content and culture in an industry that is being attacked and destroyed by this scourge, this cancer of hatred. So let's go back to the original story. The Martinsburg DIY. For what reason do these people decide Tim Pool will be physically removed? Now, it was one guy who said that. The guy who claims to own it despite not owning it. And I tell you this, there's a reason why I bought that property, and one reason alone. It is 5 acres of fully concreted property. Thank you and have a nice day. But there are other reasons too. We were looking at property to build a skate park. It's a DIY with no official organization. We offered $20,000 to people who skated in Martinsburg, and they said no, and they threatened physical violence. They said, we'll physically remove you if you try to come here. I said, okay, then I won't. Immediately, I get hit up by people in the industry saying, that's the coolest thing ever. Thank you so much. Skateboarders are hurting right now. We need help. The industry is dying. The Barracks, one of the biggest media brands in skateboarding, getting only a dozen comments on their posts, and their skate park's officially gone. The Barracks in LA was destroyed earlier this year. It's terrifying to see what's happening. So when I come out and say, I'm going to put money into skateboarding, I'm going to buy a property that was basically derelict and at risk of being destroyed at any moment. The guy who owned it was trying to sell it only a few years ago, would have ended this park. I said, I'll buy it, make sure it's not destroyed, and we're going to put $500,000 towards building a real concrete park. And they told me to F off. They claimed that I was trying to take over. I was trying to buy skateboarding. They claimed that I was trying to trick skaters into voting conservative. All lies. That's what they do. And this has been a problem skateboarding's had for a very, very long time. So I'll tell you what happens now. We're going to shut down the haters, and we're going to keep doing what we do. They're going to cry, they're going to lie, they're going to cheat, and they're going to steal. But I got bad news for all of them. There's only one thing that matters. That people who want to skate are able to make a living. And so this guy, Gifted Hater, on YouTube, he makes a video about me because he gets 100,000 hits on it. He gets paid. That's it. That's the scourge. I make money from a bunch of different things. I got a bunch of different companies, properties, rental properties. I'm at that point that I describe as called breaking the barrier. Breaking the barrier, as I describe it, is something that major athletes go through. Though they may only get a 3-year deal and then never play football again, they made about $1 million through endorsements and salary, and they've been able to invest that in rental properties and businesses to where they can make money for running those businesses for the rest of their lives. Whereas, that's the goal, right? To set yourself up with investments that you can run businesses and you're set. The average person works until retirement and they have a savings, and it's very difficult. But I think most people want to get to that point where they've made so much, they've invested it, and that is retirement, but some people want to get there sooner rather than later. For me, that's what I call it. I've got enough money saved. I was paid enough when I worked for Disney 10 years ago that I can invest in things and run these businesses now in control of them and make sure they succeed in things like this. I don't need to make a video lying about anybody and trying to destroy anything. I don't need to buy a skate park. What a ridiculous premise. That the other thing they're lying about too in these forums, they're saying that I'm funded by right-wing groups to destroy skateboarding and stuff. And it's like, they just lie. It's all they have. But none of that matters. Because the truth is, I am talking to the heads of industry in skateboarding and some of the most prominent professional skateboarders, people with large amounts of followers, and they're saying we need to get more kids skating. In response to this guy's video, the left will lie about it. That's what they're posting on Destiny. I actually have people hitting me up saying, can we talk about how we get more people to skate? Because if kids don't pick this up, if it's not family friendly, if it's not welcoming, we all have to go and get real jobs. That's the joke. Skateboarding's a real job, the same as football camp or baseball practices. You could be a baseball coach. You could be a skateboarding coach. But there's got to be an industry underlying this for it to be possible. So here's a park. Someone tried selling it. It had been there for a while. It was about to be torn down. I was looking for property in Martinsburg to buy to build a skate park. Lucky for me, there's already one that exists, and it was at risk of being torn down because they didn't own it. And so I said, we're going to buy it. There's a particularly astute comment someone made, and they said, did anyone actually stop to consider that the reason Tim Pool offered $20,000 to the DIY was that he was planning on buying it in the first place, and this was going to be the announcement about how we're going to give 20 grand away, invest $500,000 in building a real concrete park in Martinsburg, and then preserve and maintain the DIY? Particularly astute. I talked to one of the guys, and they don't live here, actually. They don't live in Martinsburg. And I said, we will build a $500,000 concrete park on the other side of the property because there's also a building there we own. We're going to have a skate shop. And you guys can keep the DIY as it is, and it will fall exactly under the same, protections and everything, and we'll leave it alone. Or if you want, we can add on to it and expand it and have it be a part of the park. And they said, no, F you. So what did they do? It's been a year since any of that went down. And all we've done is fix it and clean it and maintain the property. And they come out with more lies. And now they're claiming that we're going to kick out LGBT skaters and stuff like that. We had an interview with a gay skateboarder who talked about how we oppose exclusion from skateboarding. What they don't want is for success in an industry. I don't think they have these haters. I don't think they have anything actually going for them. This is a component of the left. No matter what it is, they hate. Why do they hate Donald Trump? No reason. Why are they voting for Kamala Harris? No reason. It's just following the trends and following the crowd. But I'll give you one final thought on this because this is one I went a little bit long on. These people have nothing to offer skateboarding. They're not offering children an opportunity. They're not welcoming kids to come skate. They are threatening the expansion of a beautiful park. Many are making the argument, if you want to build a real funded park, you don't understand the point of a DIY. Well, that's why I offered to preserve the DIY and build the park on the other side of the property, which is 5 acres. They don't care. They don't want legitimacy. They want to be dregs. They want to control their crime-ridden hovel, and they will lie, cheat, and steal to do it. But look at the bigger picture now. Look at the state of this country. Look at the people who are arguing against what we have done to try and repair and better this spot. You look at San Francisco, crime, human waste in the streets, and that's what their policy brings. Why? You look at New York, also violent crime, people being pushed in front of trains. Why? Why argue for any of that? It is a scourge on everything. For me, just happens hit a little close to home. But my final thoughts on this, why it involves me and why I make a segment like this, it's because I'm taking direct action where I can. We make music because I play music. We get involved in skateboarding and try to build skate parks because I've been skating since I was 13. And because I love skateboarding. If I played basketball, I'd be more involved in basketball. And of course, there are elements that seek to make sure it cannot happen. And they would burn your cities to the ground. They will make sure that your growth, your development, your values, everything is ripped asunder. These skate parks are falling apart everywhere. The industry is on the verge of collapse. 2 of the biggest brands, Barracks and Braille, are falling apart. No offense. I'm not trying to be mean. I hope the Barracks turns this around and figures out their business opportunity. But it was crazy when we heard they destroyed the skate park, the Barracks. We've got to get rid of the gatekeeping haters who would insult any kid who wanted to skate. And that's what they're doing. It is an unwelcoming environment. But I'll leave it there. Get woke, go broke, my friends. Next segment will be tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. We will now go skate a session the gods themselves will envy. And then we'll be back at 8 p.m. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all then.